Hello guys and welcome to my channel. I am Jennifer Fitness and I just wanted to bring this video today to you guys because it's been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time and I just haven't really been brave enough to do it. So if any of you guys are unaware, I was diagnosed with an eating disorder in 2015. Towards the end of that year, I finally admitted defeat and went to a doctor and they diagnosed me with an eating disorder. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm going to save that for the questions. And it's been a long time coming, but I've wanted to do a bit of a eating disorder recovery Q&A. Now let me just first off explain that everybody comes from a different background, everybody has a different story, and everybody's story is individual and unique to them. So any questions that I am answering, I don't want to be saying that this is how you should recover because everybody's different. Some people take longer than others to recover and it is just personal in your own life. And also I just wanted to say that this is a really personal, that's my cat's tail, this is a really personal, vulnerable topic to talk about, but it's my choice at the end of the day to put this onto YouTube. It's my choice and I obviously take responsibility for the consequences that may come from it. However, it would be nice that if you guys are watching this, like this video is for the people out there that are struggling, for the people out there that need help, that need guidance, and just support from another person who's been in that situation. The questions that I'm going to be answering, I've got 10 and written down. I've not planned the answer as such, but I do know the answer. So bear with me. If you do disagree with anything that I say, then yes, I would like to be made aware of that, but there's ways and means about it, and just be kind, like be nice to people because you don't know what people are really going through anyway. And anything that you say in the comments below may be read by somebody who's in a really vulnerable position and that could potentially really upset them. So just be mindful of what you say. So the first question that I commonly get asked, what made you want to recover in the first place? And that is purely because I was so tired of living a restricted, tired, boring, miserable life because it was a hard place to be. To be honest, most days of my eating disorder, I would just focus about food, how to eat as little as possible, exercising and lying in bed, watching Netflix in order to distract myself from wanting to eat. So if I was hungry, I'd just watch a film because one, I had no energy to do anything else or to enjoy life, and two, I just wanted to do that to pass the time so that it was my next meal time. And what made me want to recover is because I knew in my heart that there was more to life than it. And the actual point in my life where I decided this is it was when I was literally getting ready to go shopping with my mum, and I just remember getting dressed and not really thinking anything of it, just kind of dreading going shopping because shopping used to frighten me because I knew that I'd be looking at all the food and I'd be hungry and I'd be thinking about food and I'd want food, but I knew I wasn't going to have food. And yeah, I remember just walking into my mum's room and being like, I'm ready, and she started crying. And I don't want to speak too much about it because this is her story and it's something that we don't really speak about. I don't really speak about it to my mum, but I just went to my room. She started crying and saying things to me and I just went to my bedroom and really had to think about what I was doing to myself and why I was doing it, and I had to accept that there was something wrong with me at that point and that I couldn't go on that way or I couldn't upset my family anymore. So that is the kind of turning point in my life that made me really actively try to change the way that I was and to accept that I had an eating disorder. And you first, before you recover, you've got to accept that you've got an eating disorder. You've got to tell yourself that you need to change, and that is what will then start the ball rolling. Did you follow a meal plan in recovery? No, I did not follow a meal plan. Meal plans to me are quite restrictive. Don't get me wrong, for some people they may be essential in order for them to be healthy again and to gain weight, but for me, meal plans were very triggering and very restrictive and obsessive. and I needed that out of my life. I needed to get rid of that. Did you exercise in recovery? Yes, I did. And the reason that I did this was because I was at a very low point in my weight, and at that point when I had gone to the doctor and admitted what was going on, I physically had to stop going to the gym. I had to. There was nothing of me to even exercise. It was probably potentially dangerous. It was hard to not go to the gym, but at this point I was actually going to Venice in Italy for my 21st birthday, and I had to stop going to the gym. After Venice, I still didn't go to the gym until January. Now, those 3 months I actually lost more weight. I think that it was because I was still in a really vulnerable place, and because I wasn't no longer going to the gym, I was eating a lot less because I was scared of not going to the gym. And I thought, well, if I'm not going to the gym, I've got to eat less because I'm not burning any calories in the gym, so I need to stop eating that food. And obviously then I started losing muscle because I wasn't training. Even though in my eating disorder I didn't do much weightlifting, it was running for about an hour and then doing a bit of the twisty stuff and the arm machine things. I never did any proper weights, but yeah, I guess I was losing muscle, and I just was really hitting a wall. And then I was hammering the gym again that January because I was just so stressed. Not going to the gym actually made me lose a lot of weight, which I thought was crazy because I thought it was going to do the opposite. Although you shouldn't really see it this way, personally I had to go to the gym because I needed my appetite to increase. I needed to start weight training, and like eventually now I found my love for that, and I did find my love for that at the time, but that was allowing me to build muscle. It was allowing me to gain weight. It was allowing me to eat more. Physically it was giving me more appetite, but mentally it was like, right, I want to get stronger, so I've got to eat food. And that started the whole ball rolling. That's how I started to get into like bodybuilding, tracking macros, because I was just driven by this whole food is fuel basically. And yeah, the gym was an important thing in my recovery. Some people have to not go to the gym because the gym is what is their obsession. Yes, I did have an over-exercise obsession, but I also had a passion to get stronger, and that overpowered the whole burning calories. Does weight gain get easier? Of course, in the beginning weight gain is terrifying. It's very easy to eat a bit more, feel bloated and like have water retention and go back to your old habits because you want to burn what you think is fat away, and you just go through a little bit of a getting your calories up to then restricting because you don't like what you're seeing. And weight gain is terrifying initially. It is scary, it is horrible, it is uncomfortable, but it does get easier. And the reason that it gets easier is because you start to get stronger, you start to feel better, you start to have more energy, you start to enjoy life more. Nobody likes weight gain. Nobody. Nobody likes weight gain. However, when you've got an eating disorder, the weight gain is the only thing you are focused on. Whereas when you are starting to recover and you get past that initial fear, you realize it is helping you. The weight gain is giving you life, giving you energy, giving you fun. You're eating more food, so you're not so focused on food, you're not so focused on weight. You start to slowly lose that focus on weight gain. And actually, eventually, when you do start gaining weight and you start to even out, weight distribution is where, of course, initially you're going to start gaining weight in the belly because it wants to protect your organs. So you're going to get belly fat because your organs need protecting, and you're going to gain that weight there, and it's going to be frightening. It's going to look not so good, or at least you're going to think it doesn't look good. And then eventually you start to gain weight everywhere, and then you start to even out, and it starts to look better, and you start to feel better, and you start to suddenly not gain weight so rapidly. Weight just starts to be maintained, and yeah, it takes a long time. It's not just a couple of days, couple of weeks process. It takes a long time for that to happen, but it will happen. And if you're in that place right now where I was stuck in for so long, for about a year of my recovery, I was stuck in that whole gaining a bit of weight, losing it, gaining it, losing it. I was constantly gaining quite quickly and losing quickly. I was constantly stuck in that cycle because I just didn't trust my body to do what bodies do. I was like, no, mine's gonna do something wrong because mine's different to everybody else's. Mine's not a normal body. It's gonna do the things that I don't want it to do. But if you give it time and you let it trust you, it will distribute the weight. You will get healthy again. You will see what you want to see in the mirror, and it's hard, but it's worth it. Did you lose your period? If so, for how long? Yes, I did lose my period, and I started going to the gym. I hadn't lost much weight at this point, but my period had skipped a month, and then another month, and then another month. And I think initially what it was I started exercising vigorously. Like, even though I was still my normal weight, nobody had noticed anything yet, I was still fine, I was just dieting and exercising, I lost my period straight away. That wasn't really an issue at first because that had happened to me when I had been stressed in the past. So first of all, I didn't find that weird in any way. I was just like, oh, it'll be fine, next month it'll come. And at this point I was in Gran Canaria on holiday, so I was like, you know what, I'm buzzing about this because I should have been on my period right now on holiday, and actually I'm not. And let me just tell you guys one thing, talking about periods is not a natural thing to me. Like, I don't really talk about them, it's nothing to be ashamed of, girls go through periods, but it's something that I don't really speak about in the open. Yeah, I went to Gran Canaria and I was loving it because I was like eating really healthy at this point. My mum was like, you've lost weight, everybody was like, you've lost weight, but yeah, we're talking about periods. So yeah, my period was not there. Months and months and months went past. My period still never arrived in December. So from the May when it was supposed to come till the December, I did get a period in December. This is when I had gone to Venice in the September. That's when I'd been diagnosed with my eating disorder. I'd been put on to tablets, stopped going to the gym. December, I had a period. I was happy again, but I was frightened because I thought, wow, my period's come back, I've gained weight, this is not good. And I'll be honest with you guys, like I said earlier on in the video, I hammered the gym in January, and that is where my life took a turn for the worse again, because I did start to hammer the gym again and start to go back into those habits that meant I was losing weight, and I did a lot of damage, and I lost my period for many years after that. And actually my period has only been back since January. I mean, I've got my period back now and it's very regular and it's great and I'm loving it. Since I've got it back, it's been okay, it's been fine. Yeah, I'm feeling like a normal human being again. The next question is actually quite similar. It says, how did you get your period back? The answer to that is less cardio, more food. But it wasn't as simple as that. I was eating more food and more food and more food, and I was beginning to lose hope. I thought that maybe I'd never get my period back. I thought that maybe I had really damaged my body for the rest of my life. There was times when I would suddenly get this realization that I didn't have my period, I'd never have children. What if I couldn't have children? What if it affected my fertility? What if it gave me all this like osteoporosis? Or even worse, I was just Googling all these things and it was frightening me. But then there was still a part of my brain, especially in about 2016 to 2017, where I was like, actually I like it because I've got no period, I must be quite slim, I must be exercising a lot. And I had to keep knocking myself on the head, and every day I had to keep saying, you've got to eat more today. I did have to increase my fats. That is definitely something that I would say to you guys. The only thing that I can say to you guys now, if you are struggling with your period and getting it back, is to just be persistent and just have faith that it will come back, because I had to have faith for 4 years and it came back. And it is hard, believe me, it's scary, it's frightening, and your mind is torn because when it does come back initially, you're scared, you're terrified, you think you're fat. You don't have to eat and eat and eat. Like, I used to go through this phase where I used to think that I just had to eat loads of food and I just felt rubbish, and then I kept restricting after it because I was like, nah, it's not worth it. But you just have to gradually increase your calories until your body starts to trust you again, and until you're healthy, and until you're not stressed, your body isn't stressed, you're not exercising too much, you're not restricting your diet too much, you're not basically torturing your body. Like, you're just respecting it, looking after it, giving it rest when it needs rest, and you just gotta be patient. Honestly, it's a hard thing, but it will come back when your body's ready for it. Just keep going with whatever you're doing right now. And if you are ever like struggling and just need that motivation, you are always free to DM me on my Instagram, which is jen.fitness, if there's any specific questions you have on that, because it's a topic which I am really quite passionate about. Because if you don't have your period, your body is not healthy, your body is not happy, and you should not feel like if you have your period you are too fat or anything like that. It is just such a scary thing that people don't tend to talk about in eating disorder recovery. Like, you know, you talk about the eating disorder and the food and the too much exercise and the losing of the hair and the like lack of energy and all these symptoms, but nobody seems to mention that much about amenorrhea, and it's quite a serious thing. But moving on, next question is, did you ever binge? Yes, honeys, I did. I used to think when I binged that I was greedy, that I was fat, and that used to send me spiraling back into restriction and then overeating again because I'm binging, because I was hungry again, and going back and forward in this mindset of I need to restrict, lose weight, I'm starving, I can't resist food, I need to eat. You binge because you are starving your body, or you are just in a place where your body's fantasizing about food because it's not getting food and it can't function properly. In recovery, I had to go through a lot of like overfeeding syndrome because I was eating a lot of calories for such a small body. I was eating so many calories and I just could not feel satisfied because I literally forgot what hunger even felt like, or feeling full felt like. I just kind of was detached from my body's hunger cues, and it made me really struggle trying to refine what hunger was and when to eat and how much to eat and what was a normal portion size. And intuitive eating was so difficult because I just didn't even get what hunger was anymore. I was just so out of tune with my body, and that did result in me binging. And then as I started gaining weight and feeling fat, as you do, it's normal in recovery to feel fat, I started to feel really negative about my body. I started to feel really hopeless, and that I had gone on that journey to get to that place that I wanted to be, aka looking thin and slim and whatever, toned, but in reality I was too skinny, I was too underweight. I just didn't look very well anymore, but in my eyes I'd worked hard to get there, and then suddenly I was gaining weight, and that was just, why would I do that? Why would I be so stupid to work so hard and put myself through so much torture and starvation to get to there, to then gain the weight back? And that really messed with me. That really caused me a lot of stress, a lot of body confidence issues. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin. I was not fat, but I felt it. So I did quite often like emotional eat because I used to get joy out of it, and then I'd feel guilty. So it was like a bit of a cycle. You know, I've never struggled with binge eating in a way that some other people might have done. I had never struggled with any kind of binging or overeating until my eating disorder, and I was just obsessed with food, I guess. I literally was obsessed with food, and that then made me feel really bad because I was like, why am I so obsessed with food? I used to be able to restrict it so good, and now I can't restrict it, and it used to majorly stress me out. If you are someone who struggles with binging and you want to know how to overcome that, I don't really know how I can give you guys that sort of advice because I've never struggled with it to an extent, but it has come up in my eating disorder recovery, and it has been something that I have dealt with. I would just say to stop feeling guilty, stop focusing on your weight or the calories that you're eating, stop trying to restrict. Just, if you do overeat, just go back to normal calories, normal foods that you enjoy, eat what you enjoy. Don't like see chocolate as bad and salad as good. Food is food, and yes, food has different nutritional values, but food is all calories, and at the end of the day, weight gain is calories in versus calories out. I'm passionate about nutrition and health, but I'm also a lover of cookies and donuts and just having fun food with family and friends, and on your own. If you want ice cream, have ice cream.
I'm just a big foodie.
I am. And how have I become a foodie? Because I've stopped focusing on the good and the bad in food and just seeing food as food. You have to stop feeling guilty for enjoying food. Food is a massive part of life. It's got to be involved in every day, so you need to be okay with it. Did you track macros and calories in recovery? I've got 2 minutes left before this camera's gonna go off. I didn't want this to be this long, but it might be a long video. I might have to split it into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. Did you track macros? Did you track macros?
Did you track macros?
Did you track macros or calories? Oh my gosh, this is asking me something now because I have been up and down with calories, etc, etc, etc. I think I'm gonna let this video stop and I'm gonna refilm another one because I'm a bit on edge at the fact that it's nearly at half an hour, and at half an hour
It shuts down